What's up, YouTubers? It's your girl Shannon from EV and Chill. And by now, you guys know that I've driven EVs for a few years now. And during that time, at least one EV has always been a Tesla. Now, with any vehicle, people are gonna kind of either love it or hate it. I mean, take the F-150 for example. If you're a Chevy fan, maybe you think the Silverado is a superior vehicle, so you might be hating on the F-150. And vice versa, if you love Ford, if you love F-150s, maybe you really don't like the Chevy Silverado. And that's kind of natural. To me, I think that's kind of like natural competition between competitors. That's something that I expect to be normal. But something I have noticed with Tesla specifically is that there seems to be an unusually large amount of Tesla hate. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about why people hate Tesla so much and why it seems to go above and beyond the usual amount of like vehicle competition. So let's not waste any time. We are going to jump into it. Also, these roads I'm driving on are terrible. I don't know if you have driven through Rhode Island, but these potholes are awful. Okay, but before we go ahead and we jump into talking about Tesla hate today, Mama has got to get herself some hot chocolate. So let's hit up Starbucks and then we can begin. Yes, hi, can I please get a tall hot chocolate, extra hot with skim milk and light whip? That morning fuel, y'all, it is good. Okay, let's continue in talking about Tesla hate. And now I'm gonna be upfront with you guys. Now, we have owned our Teslas for a few years now. Honestly, when I think about like why someone might not like a vehicle, yeah, sure, looks pop into my mind. But even thinking about that, as long as I have owned a Tesla, which has been for a hot second, as we know by now, no one has ever walked up to me and said, dang, that is an ugly car. No one has ever said that. To be honest with you guys, the only time someone has ever done that, ever said anything about one of my vehicles being ugly, was when we owned the Mustang Mach-E. Not joking, people. No one said anything about the Ioniq 5, the BMW i4, the EV6. Okay, a lot of people said things about the EV6, but none of it was derogatory. People loved the way the EV6 looked. I think the wrap had a little bit to do with that. But people always commented on how great that looked. But again, the only negative comment I've ever received about one of my EVs, at least when it comes to looks, was about the Mach-E. And honestly, people, I thought the Mach-E looked pretty fire. The looks were one of the things that sold me on that vehicle. The only thing that people mention when they talk about my Tesla particularly, especially the Model Y, is how good it looks with the stealth wrap. They think it looks pretty fire. I do too. However, people, when you go on the forums, when you go on YouTube, even scroll through some of my comments, people love to hate on the looks. Now, I think that's kind of one of those things where they're like keyboard warriors out there, right? Everyone can say whatever they want when they're behind the safety of their computer in their mom's basement. Now, when people think of Tesla, they tend to usually equate that to Elon Musk. Now, even though Elon didn't initially create Tesla, he has taken Tesla to where it is today, all in about 10 years. 10 years, people, that is impressive. So it has been a decade since the Model S first came out, and now Tesla has sold over 3 million vehicles. Y'all, that is impressive. Now Elon can be Elon, and what do I mean by that? He can be pretty polarizing sometimes, right? Everyone seems to have an opinion on him. Either they love him or they hate him. However, I have to say, personally, I love him. He has revolutionized the EV space completely. He has taken big auto manufacturers on a journey and made them completely change the directions they were going in with electric vehicles. Honestly, I don't know if Ford, Kia, Hyundai, I don't know if all of these other big auto manufacturers would be trying to get EVs out as quickly as they would have done if Tesla wasn't around. However, as much good as Elon has done for Tesla, he again can be really polarizing and people just seem to have an opinion about him. Take a look at his Twitter, for example. He tweets some pretty random things. Personally, I love it. I think he's pretty hilarious. When he tweeted that thing about the sex tape, y'all, that had me rolling. I have to say though, his sex tape looks a little bit different than the sex tape my husband and I made. You can find that one on our OnlyFans. But what I think actually really bothers people is the fact that if someone is having an issue with their vehicle and they tweet him, he'll tweet back and he will communicate directly with his customers. Personally, I think that's really, really cool. For some people, I think it bothers them that maybe that's not the typical protocol. But I mean, if you look at Elon, he's a billionaire. And the fact is, billionaires can kind of do whatever they want. And honestly, people, if I were a billionaire, I would be doing whatever I wanted to. So don't forget, I'm gonna take a second to tell you to hit that subscribe button and drop this video a like so I can be on my way to that billionaire status. But again, being a billionaire, he's got a lot of money. And I think that's another issue. I think people just really don't like the fact that he has that much money. And I don't know if maybe that's like makes people angry or even jealousy coming out, but for some reason they apply that hatred and jealousy towards Tesla. So Elon is a reason people don't like Tesla. But let me say this, do people apply that same logic towards other company executives? Jeff Bezos, for example, he was unfaithful to his wife. Personally, I don't love that about him. But at the same time, I still love his product. Amazon, hello, we all love us some Amazon. I think the UPS guy might as well just live in my house because he is stopping by at least like 1 to 4 times a day. So again, even though I don't love Jeff Bezos, I can still love his company and his product. I mean, this girl, I love me some hot chocolate. Hello, Starbucks. That doesn't necessarily mean I like Howard Schultz. I mean, hello, take a look at Tim Cook, for example. I don't necessarily have to love old Timmy Cook to enjoy his product, right? And people, okay, there is a specific executive at Ford. I'm not going to say his name. However, if you're on Twitter, it's not that hard to figure out. And he loves to troll people. Now, I don't love that about him, but at the same time, I'm not going to let that deter me from ever buying a Ford again. I realize that aside from him, like, the company is made up of a lot of people. Companies are made up of hundreds and thousands of people aside from that one person. So I'm not going to let that one person deter me from ever enjoying another product. That would be ridiculous. And I think that's kind of like the amazing thing about America. Like, we can have different opinions and we can still move on and we can get along. Even if we have differing opinions, I'm going to say that again, we can still get along. Or at least not be rude to each other, people. So why else do people hate Tesla? Well, honestly, some people might just not like the looks of a Tesla, and that's totally understandable. If you think about it, I mean, the outside is a really controversial design, and the interior is really minimalistic. So if you don't like that, that's totally fine. Okay, now another issue I've seen of why people don't like Teslas are because of quality control issues. Okay, and that topic gets people super ramped up. Now I have to say, just speaking from my own experience, because that's the only experience I have to pull from, after owning 2 Teslas, I have not had a single quality control issue. Oh, hold up, people. We were just talking about Jeff Bezos. Look who is here, Amazon. What up? Hold up while I get my packages. Okay, so one of the things I do love about Amazon is the fact that because I order so many things, I never really know what's coming. So it truly is like Christmas every day at my house. Okay, but back to what I was saying about quality control issues. I've owned 2 Teslas and I have not had a single quality control issue with either vehicle. And honestly, if I think about it, people, the only EV I've actually ever had a lot of issues with is with my Mach-E. That vehicle was in the shop 6 times in less than a year. And honestly, that's pretty significant. But as frustrating as my experience was in owning the Mach-E, that doesn't mean I would never own a Ford again. And I don't say that, I don't call the Mach-E out to like rub dirt in the Mach-E's face, because honestly, there were a lot of things I loved about that vehicle. And truthfully, I've owned 7 EVs, and each experience has been different with each vehicle. So do I doubt that other people have had quality control issues with their Tesla? No, I'm sure people have. But again, after owning 7 EVs, I can kind of guarantee that at least at some point, all vehicles have had quality control issues. Again, it's kind of just one of those things where we have different opinions, and that's okay. If you look at the forums and tweets, people just get really emotional when they talk about their hatred for Tesla. And I just really have a hard time understanding why. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a vehicle that I own. Do I love it? Absolutely. I love my Tesla. Is it life-changing? Sure, it can be. I mean, no other vehicle that I've ever owned have I been able to watch myself on YouTube. Like, that's really cool, people. But at the end of the day, it's a vehicle. It gets me from point A to point B. But people act like Tesla is trying to take over the world like the next adversary in like the next Spider-Man movie. And that is just bonkers to me. Now, am I going to sit here and say that everyone should own a Tesla? Absolutely not. That's just not realistic. I mean, these cars are really expensive. Some people just honestly don't like the looks of them, and that is perfectly okay. I think it's just important not to forget that Tesla or any other manufacturer for that reason, they're made up of people. Like I said before, I'm not going to stop buying things from Amazon just because I don't really like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, he didn't put my items in that box and send it out to me. Other people did. I mean, Howard Schultz didn't put my hot chocolate in here this morning. I mean, that'd be kind of cool if he did. And Tim Cook, he didn't like personally screw together my iPhone. Sure, those people are the faces of the company, but that company is made up of a lot of people, a lot of hardworking people. And those people don't deserve all of this emotional hatred because some people just don't like that one person. That's ridiculous. Now, you can comment below if you think that I'm wrong or if you happen to agree with me. People, I just honestly think that it's ridiculous to throw so much hate on a company whose primary job is to get you from point A to point B. That's just ridiculous. But again, this is just my opinion. Okay, well, that is all I've got for now talking about Tesla hate. Again, like I said earlier, don't forget, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. And if you've already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up. Well, that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.